everyone, welcome to Liza's Painting Parties. It's Thursday night and we're going to be starting a live painting session in just a few moments. Tonight we're going to be doing this as our inspiration image. So this is an image I created digitally on my iPad, and I wanted to make it into an acrylic image, so I'm really excited to be doing this with you all. For anyone who hasn't joined me before, welcome. I'm really happy that you're here, and anyone who has joined before and you're joining me again, welcome back. I'm glad that you enjoyed it and you're coming back again. The way I usually do these as a refresher, or as for anyone who's here for the first time, is we have our inspiration image, and I will walk you through how I will go about recreating that image myself, and I'll do it step by step and try to make it as easy and accessible and simple as possible for you to be able to do that. I recommend as well, if you have some painting experience, or if something's calling to you and you want to take it on your own tangent and change the colors of things or any of the elements, you are more than welcome to do so. So we take this as almost a book club kind of session, where our image is the book that we're all reading, but we can all interpret it any which way we so desire. And what I ask is that once you have painted along, whether you're watching this live or whether you do this at a different time in the future, please take a picture of it and share, because it's very fun to see everyone's personal creations and individual styles. And I know in the community, I think that's something that everyone likes to do as well. So please do that, and that'd be fantastic. If you would like to leave me a tip, there's a link in the description of the video there if you'd like. It's not required. And if you're interested in hosting your own painting party, you can feel free to reach out to me. My website's there as well, and we can talk about that. We can do a virtual party, or if you're in the Toronto area, I would love to do it in person as well for you. So feel free to reach out if that's something that's interesting. Otherwise, we will get started in just a moment. I'll run through the supply list as well of what I'll be using today. And again, it's a suggestion. You can always change things up as you desire. This will be done with acrylic paint. That's my preferred and most comfortable medium that I use. But again, you can do it in any which particular form that you'd like to do. I am here in Ajax, Ontario, which is just about half an hour outside of Toronto. So if you're tuning in, feel free to let me know where you're tuning in from. I love to see that, especially how it's so cool when you get to see people from all over the place. And if you're watching and you can't paint along with me right now, it's totally fine. This video will be up on my Facebook page under the videos tab, so you can watch it whenever you so desire. And I'll also cross-post it to my YouTube channel as well, also called Liza's Painting Parties. So if you prefer to watch it on YouTube, it's going to be the exact same video. You might be watching it right now on YouTube. Hello. Feel free to do that which way you like. Cool. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, perfect. Yep, so feel free, as I go through, I will keep an eye on the comments. So you can just type in and let me know if you have any questions or anything you want to say. You can feel free to type it in there. If one of you sees a comment and you have an answer for someone, feel free to help each other out. Even though I'm the one hosting, everyone has their own sets of experiences, and many of you are far more talented and have a lot of tips and tricks that I don't know about, so please feel free to share and do that in the comments. That'd be fantastic. Hello, hi Barbara, hi Doreen. Oh, I'm glad that you're excited about this one. Great. Yeah, I'm really happy. I think that's going to be my way of doing original content, is I find it very user-friendly to play on my iPad digitally with the images, and then create something I like and then do it with all of you live. So I think I'm going to be doing that ongoing for all the original images I do. So yeah, I definitely I'm happy about this one too. It's so summery and bright and fun. And it is going to look, again, a little bit different, because we'll make it pop in different ways when we're actually doing it with paint. And so I love seeing that. When we start with this, one thing I'll do is I'll walk you through the process of what we're going to be starting to first. So the first thing we're going to be starting with is the background. So we're going to get the sky in first, and then we'll layer from there. However, before I even get to that, let me go through what supplies I have today. So today I'm using a canvas. This one is, I think it's 12 by 14, I believe. So I'm using this stretched canvas. It came from the store already primed, like it's ready to go. I didn't add anything else to it. It's just opened up the plastic from the package and it's good to go. I have my acrylic paints, and I use 2 different types of acrylic paints only because that's what is available essentially. So I have these ones from Deco Art Crafters Acrylic. They dry with a matte finish, and I got these from the Dollarama. And as long as you have your primary colors, red, blue, and yellow, and black and white, we can mix them and we can make anything you like. Of course, however, if you have some that are already pre-mixed, as I do, you can feel free to dip into those as well. So I have those, and then I also use this one from Artist's Loft. It's Flow Acrylic, and this one dries with like a bit of a shiny finish. Although any paintings that you want to keep or want to preserve, I do recommend also putting, once everything's dry, there's like a sealant you can purchase at like craft stores and stuff, and there's other ways to do it, but I have this one that kind of dries with like a nice shine to it, and it makes everything look just like a little bit nicer. So I definitely recommend doing that, because it'll just like preserve things and just make it a little bit nicer to keep. I have my painting palette. I have my water containers. I usually have 2 just because sometimes the water can get pretty gross and I don't really want to go and change them in the middle of my process. And I suggest having at least 3 paintbrushes, a large, a medium, and a fine. So I have, these are the ones my go-to that I use often. So this is a size 10, this is a size 2, and this is a size, I think it's technically a 4, but it is quite a fine point once it is wet, or yeah, when I'm using it, which is nice. So those are the ones I use for this kind of size canvas, but again, that would change depending on the size of canvas you're going with. And you can have a variety of brushes as well. Those are just the ones that I use. As I'm going through this as well, I'll let you know when I'm using like water, when I'm actually cleaning off my brush. I don't do that super frequently. I end up using paper towel a lot to like take the excess paint off and still continue painting with the brush for longer periods of time, which I think is a little bit like different than what some people do. So I'll talk to that. Again, you don't have to follow it along perfectly the way I've done it. You can do your own way, and whatever's comfortable for you as well. But I'll still talk through it as much as I can. Fantastic. Oh, yay. Hello. Hi, Mari. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, my. Savannah, Georgia, it's 100. Holy baloney. That sounds very hot. And hi, Kendra. Fantastic. Awesome. Great. Here it's pretty hot, like the temperature, but there is a nice breeze happening, so that makes it a lot more manageable, which is nice. Yesterday was really gross. And it was supposed to, my understanding, it was supposed to rain, but I don't think it ever actually did, so it kind of just stayed gross. But yeah, so it's really nice and sunny right now, and it's you can see, like, the trees are moving and it's nice and breezy. It's been pretty good. And hi, Carrie from Australia, awesome. And Kelly from Nova Scotia, hello. Awesome. Okay, so oh, and I also have something to drink, and I would suggest having a water or coffee or whatever drink suits your fancy as we go through this. Usually in painting parties take about 2 hours, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes a little bit more, depending. I think this will probably take almost 2 hours. It depends how detailed we're going to get with the flowers. I think that's going to end up being our our area. That might end up being more specific or detailed depending on how your flow is. Okay, fantastic. And Tanisha, yay, I'm glad you're excited. I'm glad you're here. Yay. Okay. Perfect. So what I'll do is, if what I suggest as well is this image, I put it as a post earlier today to show everyone what we're going to be doing. So you may want to grab a screenshot of that image just so you have it available for your own personal reference as we go through. As I'm painting, I'll move the camera so you'll be able to see my canvas, and I'll have this image on the side. However, sometimes we get, like, with my very technological setup, we get like glares from my lamps and things that are in here. I'll try my best to make it as clear as possible, but like I said, it might be easier just to have another version or like a picture of it from earlier today. Might make your life a little bit easier. So without further ado, we're gonna get started. So like I said, we're gonna start with the background is our first step. Let's see if I can move this up. Okay, that's good for now. There we go. Thanks, Doreen. I love your cheerleader. You're the head cheerleader for the painting parties. That's your new title. I love it. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, Brenda. And hi, Lisa and Richard. Yay. Fantastic. Okay, cool. So now you can see, let me make sure you can see my canvas well. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So we are going to, I love the size canvas, but on my, again, very fancy easel, which is actually a step stool, it pretty much ends up always falling into the sides. Like the inside here ends up like hitting the insides here, and so I have to be cautious that it doesn't like pull on the actual stretched canvas and stays kind of in spots. You're going to see me struggle with that today a little bit, but it's all good. All right, so for the background, what I want to do is I want to first think about where I want that sun, that light source to live, which I think is going to be kind of in this area here, so it'd be similar to the inspiration image. And I want to keep with the similar color, so I want there to be a nice circular flow as I'm painting. It's going to be white, yellow, not green, so we're going to have to be cautious about our blending before we start putting blue, because if we put our blue into our yellow, we're going to get a weird green sky, and I personally don't want that, so I'll talk through how that's going to be. And then it will go until get like a little bit darker on the sides here. We'll get to like a darker blue. I don't know if I want to go into this, like, this is kind of like almost a gray. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I think I might just stick with more blue, but we'll see how that goes. So let's start putting some paint on our palette. So let's get some white, yellow, blue. And I'm going to use a good amount of white. White ends up being my go-to blend color. And what I'll do is once I put the paint on my palette, I'll show you about how much I am starting off with. And I also want some black, a little drop of black just to get my blue a little darker, and I want my yellow too. Okay. All right, so that is more or less how much I'm painting. I'll put my thumb if it gives you an idea. I don't know if that helps or hinders it, but so yeah, quite a bit of white, a little bit of little bit of black, yellow and blue there. Okay, I'm gonna start with my big old brush, and I'm gonna start with my white paint. So it's gonna be quite boring to start because we're just gonna put in where we want that to start our source of brightness. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go around in a circle, and we want the circle to be a little bigger than what we actually want that sun to actually be. So I'm going to go larger than what I want. Okay. So I'm going to want it to be a little smaller than that, but I want a bit larger. It's hard to see because I know it's all white. And now I'm going to get my yellow paint. So I just get a glob. And on the outside, so on the canvas where I have not painted yet, I'm just going to go and put a little bit of yellow on the sides like that. And now I'm going to start around. So I'm not touching my white paint yet. I'm just going around. And as I'm going, I'm going to start to bring it in slightly into the white paint. And when I do that, I'll kind of start making it kind of the size I want it to be. So I already start having a blend happening. And I'm going to use white paint to keep, now I'm putting a little bit of white back on top of that yellow. And I'm going to use white paint now on the exterior. Again, just to like wet our canvas down. Okay, and then I'm going to get some yellow and go on top of that now. Okay, and I'm using, how can I explain it? So like right now my brush is pretty dry. My canvas is actually pretty dry. Like it dries pretty quickly. So I'm using a little bit of paint, but I'm not, it's so hard to describe like how much paint I'm using. Because I'm not using much. I'm using enough so that it's blending, but that it's not globby on the canvas. So I don't know if you can see that blend so far. It's very light. We'll be able to see more nicer blending as we continue going on. And now at this point, I don't want more yellow to spread. So here, this is already starting to be almost pretty dry on the sides, which is fantastic. But at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to just clean off my brush with water, try and get the excess water off. I don't want my brush to have a lot of water on it. Otherwise, the paint ends up being too thin, and we don't want that to happen. Okay. And so for me, this part here is already quite dry, and that's good. If yours isn't, you need to wait a little bit longer, or you might want to use like a blow dryer or something just to get it dry. If it's still wet, you're going to get that green line, and we don't want that. So if you're dry, start this process. You're going to get white, and we're going to go around the edge. So I want this to be like a light blue to start, and then we'll drag it out and then make it a dark blue. But we're going to start with white first. Okay, and let's make that even more white. Let's put more all around it. Be a big white paint circle around what we already have. Okay, and then we're going to get a little bit of our blue, and I'm going to start to put little lines in the white paint. And what I'm going to do before I start to blend, I'm just going to take off the excess blue paint from my brush. Okay, I'm going to go back and get a little bit more white, and now I'm going to start going over the blue and start to blend it in. And we're going to work fairly quickly because we don't want those blue lines to dry like that, because that's not going to look as nice as it could. We're going to work a little quickly. So because we put that white paint on first, it allowed it to keep wet, and it lets us blend it. It gives us time to blend it as well. Okay, so now we have a nice blue circle happening. Okay, and now we're going to start to build out this blue circle. So I'm going to use blue, and I'm going to go around the area, the canvas that doesn't have any paint on it. And I'm going to get my white paint, and I'm going to go on top of it. I'm going to start to bring it out. And I'm not going inwards because at this point, because right now my paintbrush has a little, the paint is quite dark blue, and I don't want to bring that in yet. I want my paintbrush to be a little bit lighter, but I still want this to be wet. So I'm just going to clean off the excess right now with my paper towel, and I'm going to go get white, and then with the white I'm going over that line. And you just want to be careful, because when you put your paintbrush down, right, this side of your paintbrush is going to have a lot more of that darker blue on, so you just want to keep the paintbrush going the same way. You can kind of go back and forth, but you want to make sure it goes the same way, because otherwise you'll bring darkness, the darker blue, too far into your lighter color, and we don't want that. You want to keep it going. Just pay attention so you don't like flip it, and then you're like, oh no! And then it's like way too dark. Hope that makes sense. And if you need, just feel free to like use your, oof, let's not dip that, oh my, okay. Use your paper towel to like take off the excess if it's too blue. And we'll go back and just get some more white, and then use that to blend. And I want it to be a little bit lighter in here. And I'm always going in this like circular, trying to keep nice circular motion to have this flowing nicely. Okay. Nice and bright and pretty. Okay. Okay, and we're going to keep going out and keep getting a little bit darker as we go, and we're going to do the same thing as we did before. So I'm going to get the blue, and I'm going to paint around. The areas that I have not painted yet. Okay, I'm going to get some white. We're going to go over it. A little bit more blue. Just keep bringing this outwards. I'm getting to the point where I don't know if I want to put more white on it. I think I want to stay with this blue and then maybe even darken it, but not yet. I'm just going to bring this blue and keep going with this straight up blue for now. Okay, I'm trying to still keep this circle happening. And you want to try to paint your edges of your canvas too. I haven't done that myself yet, but this is a reminder as you're going. I don't know if I'm gonna, I had black on there, like I thought maybe I might want to add a little bit of black to the corners, but I don't know. I think I might want to just keep it this bright blue. Yeah, I don't think I am gonna go darker than that. I think we'll keep it this pretty blue. On the bottom. Okay, and for me, I want to see the paint, like I want to see the paintbrush strokes in the sky. That's important to me for this one. Sometimes I try not to, like I like to kind of blend it more, but I'm just going to do the sides of it as well, and the lighter blue, just while I let this kind of dry. And when you're doing the sides, you just want to make sure, because often when I'm doing the sides, I end up touching the front of my canvas, so I just want to make sure if I do, I'm cognizant of that, and then I just try to make it look continuous. Okay. Okay. My brush kind of has a little bit of like white on it and a little bit of light blue, so I'm actually just kind of going into some of this area just to add a little bit more streakiness to it, bring a little bit of brightness there too. Just having fun with it. How pretty. Oh, Doreen. Doreen saying that she's using a blow dryer because she has a green sky. That's the trick with blue and yellow when you're playing with these colors in the sky, which, I mean, a lot of times we have that because of having our sun, wanting it to have that yellow from the bright sun. I'm having a little bit happening on this side here, but it's challenging. Definitely challenging. I'm just trying to take all the extra blue off of my brush right now because there's quite a bit. So I need to go back in and I want to touch up the yellow and my sun and just kind of get this more circular-ish. I'm just using white right now. It's on top of this area where I had a little bit of green happening and wasn't really a fan of it. I'm going to bring some white strokes into my yellow. Go get some yellow. I want to do the same thing on top of that. All right, pretty. I keep like, my brush ends up leaving like little dots around, so that's not so great, but okay, perfect. So, oh, yeah, it's a little wet, but that's okay. Let me just hold it up a little bit so you can kind of see what's happening there from what I just did with the yellow, and I put some more white. So I put a little bit of white in like the area that was kind of greenish, and then I went over with yellow and I kind of left it very streaky and like painterly, so you can see a lot of the strokes happening, and I like that a lot. Okay, cool. So at this point, I think I'm pretty happy with the sky. At the same time, we could add even more detail to it, to be honest. On some of the other skies that I've done in the past, I've really enjoyed going back with like a thinner brush and kind of adding like more defined streaks. So it almost has like almost like Van Gogh-esque kind of vibe where there's like lots of different colors kind of happening, but that can take a lot of time. So I don't know if I really am in the mood to do that today. I think I'm going to just keep it the way it is. I'm happy with the streakiness thus far. So now I want to place like the branch that lives here, because that's the thing that's furthest in the background. Everything else kind of sits on top of that branch. And then we're going to start placing some of the flowers and having fun with all of that. Okay, so for the branch, in this image, it is kind of like a dark brown. You could make it black as well if you prefer, so you can do it however you want. If you don't have a pre-mixed brown that you like, then what you can do is you can mix equal parts of blue, yellow, and red, and you'll get a brown out of that. That being said, depending on the blue, the yellow, and the red that you have, because sometimes if you go to the dollar store, they have like, for example, this yellow is like bright yellow, but there's also like a daffodil yellow or a sunflower yellow. So they have like different variations of those three primary colors. If you're mixing from that, sometimes what can happen is the brown can end up being more like a gray brown, depending on the variation of the colors. So you might just have to play a little bit with it first. So you want to put equal parts, and then you kind of like adjust a little bit depending on how it goes. Or if you have a pre-mixed brown, we can do that. I think I'm going to do a pre-mixed one for today. The pre-mixed one I'm using is called Cinnamon Brown. And again, it's not because this is the brown I love, it's just the one I have on hand. Ooh, and there's a big glob of dry paint in the container. I have like a weird satisfaction, but from like pulling them out. I kind of enjoy it. But it annoys me like in the process when I'm like trying to do something and it's there and I'm like, okay, really? Excuse me. Okay. So for this branch, I think I'm going to use my medium-sized brush so I can place it, and then I might just detail it a bit more with my with a fine brush. I think. Okay, let's do that. So I'm just going to start with this brown, and I might lighten or darken it as I go. So this branch is kind of twisty a bit, but you can, again, make it however you so desire. So I'm just going to kind of start it like here-ish. And then I'm going to, this isn't like the full branch, I'm just going to put like a line, and then I'll thicken it as I desire in a little bit. So I'm just going to bring it down, and then I'm going to have it go like this. Okay, and then let me just thicken it up a little bit. And then as it comes to the end, I'll try to keep it a little thinner than what it was earlier. Okay, and then we're going to have something shooting out there. I'll have another one shooting out like that, maybe. I'll thicken that up a little bit. Like that. And one kind of coming out like that, perhaps. Maybe have a little bit sticking out like there. Maybe this one comes down here. Okay, so there we go. Don't know if I want to continue it. I think all the other flowers are going to cover it nicely on the side, but I think I'm going to bring it in just a little more. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to use a little bit of black. I'm just putting black. So I haven't cleaned off the brown off my paintbrush. I'm just getting black right on top of it. And I'm just going to bring some black to kind of the bottom of the branch. Okay, there we go. As I'm going, like the black's kind of going away from my brush, I'm just blending it a little bit up into the brown. Okay. I just want to add a little bit. I mean, it's going to be covered a bit with all the other stuff happening, but I still want it to look kind of neat. I'm just going to go a little bit of white and just put a little bit on the areas that will be closer or like to the where the sunlight's beaming on. So I'm just going to go on top of it. Because it's wet, you have to kind of go back and get paint a lot more frequently, because every time it touches the wet paint, it grabs it and you kind of lose the color that you just put on your brush. I'm not worrying so much about making it super straight here or not, because obviously, like, when you have a piece of wood. There's lots of little grooves and whatnot happening, so I think I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. So let's see. I think I want to start with putting some like green flying out of here on the side to give us some bases to play off of. And then maybe we'll, once this dries, then we'll put that vine around with little flowers on there. So we'll wait till that stick is dry before we put anything on there. So I think, yeah, so now we'll jump over and we're going to put like the stems of all of this like green foliage that's, green foliage? No. These flowers that have green stems. And yeah, there's a little bit of green foliage happening on the side there. So we'll place that next. So again, if you have a pre-mixed green, go for it. If you don't, you can mix your blue and your yellow together. I have a lot of yellow right now. I don't know. No, I think I'll just use my pre-mixed green again just for ease. And the one I grabbed is just hunter green, which is a little dark, but that's okay. All right, so I want to use a bit of a finer brush, or one that I have more control over. I think I'm going to use this one and see if it's good. I want to put a little bit of, just going to make that green a little brighter, because hunter green is quite dark. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we can kind of, let's think. So I want to place that bigger one. So I'm going to place the line about like there. This is more just for like a guide of where all of the petals and everything are going to stem from. And then we have another thing on here. Okay, then we have another one there. And we're going to have a big flower on top of here, so. And then we'll have oh yeah, then we have that purple one that's kind of like curves. So let's just place that line. And then we have that other purple one on the side here. So let's maybe make it come like this. Give it a little bit of pizzazz. Okay, cool. So that gives us some spots as to where those are going to be. Oh, hi, Cynthia. Oh, thanks for sharing it to your group. And I hope your husband's okay. I hope you're okay. Okay, so let's see. I think I want to start putting in some of the flowers, and then we can add some little more green bursts afterwards. I think that is what I'd like to do. I think. But I know I also want, there's going to be like a leaf that's going to be here, like under the sunflowers or daisies. I think they're more like daisies. So I think I'm going to start placing like a leaf here. Okay, just so I start having that placement there. Cool. All right. So, okay, let's decide which flower we're gonna do. I think I want to do some of those pink ones that are jutting out over there. So I have white already. I'm just gonna get some red so that I can mix some pink together, and then also I'm going to use some of the red too. So I'm going to use my finer brush. And so with this process, we're going to start by kind of following the trajectory, I guess, like, so it's going to be upward. All the petals are going to be they're going to be going upwards, essentially, when we start placing them. And we're going to be doing a bit of layering. So we're going to start with one color, and it's going to look kind of boring, and then we're going to put another color, and then another color, and we're going to go lighter and darker. So we'll have a couple different variations, and then we'll play on top of it. So that may not have made much sense, but I will show you, and then we'll go from there. So I think I'm going to start with, I'm just going to put some red and white together, just to get kind of a base pink going. Okay. And then I'm just going to, let's just start here. So I'm just going to start putting in little lines. Okay, and I'm just putting my brush and then just like almost like stamping. So the colors are kind of changing sometimes because I'm mixing the colors as I go. And then up here, I'm gonna keep putting some more, and then maybe we'll put some that look like they're not even attached to anything, but they'll make more sense as we continue to play with this. So I want it to be a bit wider at the bottom, and more of these little petals kind of sticking out more, and then it get a little bit thinner at the top. Okay, so now I'm going to go a little bit darker, so I'm going to use my red, or more the red into that pink, and then I'm going to do the same thing. And now I'm just going to start placing more on top and in some of the blank spaces. Okay. All right, so now I want to go lighter. So I want to get more white on my brush. It's going to end up being, like I still have quite a bit of red. I'm not cleaning off my brush, so, but I'm going to get it lighter, and we're going to do the same thing. so we have a nice flower going on. Oh. Oh, I hope he gets better soon, Cynthia. Okay, and then I still want this color, but I want it to be a little bit murkier. I'm just mixing it in some brown actually and seeing how that looks. I think that might work actually. I just want it to be a little, like another color in here, I think. It's kind of weird. I wouldn't normally think to do that, but I think that's kind of working. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to, I think I want more red actually. I'm going to do red first. Put some more little hints of red. Okay. I like that. I think I'm going to do a little bit more pinky kind of color. Not sure where though. I feel like maybe it is actually done and I just can't stop. But I like doing lots of layers. Still quite wet too, so sometimes it's nice to wait until it's a bit drier to do that, but I'm gonna do a couple kind of upside down because I think like sometimes that can happen. Okay, cool. Yeah, so there we go. That's pretty. Make sure we get that a bit closer. So we've got lots of different colors going on. Okay. And I want to do a similar, pretty much the same kind of thing on this little guy beside it. Okay. So, start with pink. I'm gonna get my base color going first. Okay. And we'll do the same thing. Okay, and now let's get some red. Okay, and now let's get some more white happening. Okay, I think I feel pretty good with that one. I think I might leave that one as is for now. Okay, And now let's play with purple. So if you have a pre-mixed purple, go for it. I do have a pre-mixed one. I might put that on here, but I think I'm still going to mix my own with my red and my blue. But I need more blue. I'll just do this. Okay, coolio. Alright, so same thing. I'm going to start with one of the purple. We're going to do the same flow. So I'm going to start with just putting like almost like stamping my brush to get petals, and it's going to be very sparse, but then we're going to keep going and adding more and more as we go. But right now we're just going to do a few. Okay. And then we're going to put some that almost like don't even touch. I need something on top of that green. Okay, so now let's get some white, get a little bit lighter happening here, and do the same process. Now I'm just going to get that darker one again. And again, just like stamp it. Cute. Okay. Just going in with, again, a little bit lighter and just putting like a little okay, cool. So I think I like that guy. And then we're going to do one more on this curve. So again, we'll pick whatever our base color is. Ooh. Terry, sorry you came in late. Yeah, it was 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm in Toronto, and I start at 6 Eastern Standard Time. But there's definitely a replay. So I think even right now with the live, I think you might be able to go back and rewind right now and do it. Or once this is done, so once it's complete, it will be available on the Facebook page under the videos tab and also on my YouTube channel. I'll cross post it there. It might take a little bit of time to upload to YouTube, but it'll be there. And Armani says, wants to figure out a way to watch on big screen TV to see the detail. You know what? There's been a few people throughout these painting parties. I know that is what they do. So some people like to watch first, and then they end up painting afterwards and follow along, like watch it basically twice. And a few people have said that they like to put it on their TV and have it there so you can see the detail. So yeah, I think that's a great idea. It's definitely tricky because I want to make sure I can show you the image but then still paint as we go, but it's definitely difficult to see all the fine points. Okay, let's continue. We'll get this guy here. So again, I'm just going to start, I think I'm going to start at the top actually. So I'm just going to, again, just whatever color, I'm using the darker color right now. And I'm going to start to put in little petals all the way down, keeping my lines, again, upwards. And then some as we get down to the bottom, some of them don't even attach to my main vine there because they end up getting thicker, and there's probably other little bits that we can't see once we start putting everything together. Let's keep that nice. And it's all the same color so far. Okay, and then now let's get some lighter colors. I'm just going to go with the white and then do the same thing. Okay, and I'm going to get that darker purple again and just go on top of some of the lighter areas. And by doing that, because everything's still wet, it ends up not being as dark, or it picks up some of the lighter ones underneath, so it actually creates some nice variations. No, don't go away, I need you. There you go. Okay, and then I want to get more like white, and I want to go in and put like little white, little snippets. Okay, there we go. That purple guy. Hi, Tracy. Thanks, Mary. I'm glad you both think it's pretty. That's great. Yeah, it's definitely fun. And I'm definitely having fun like putting in all these little color variations. Very, very cute. Okay, cool. So now I kind of want to add, I know we have this other stem with like some other ones, but I almost want to put like another one of these here, but I don't know. I kind of feel like we need this to be like an odd number. I feel like it's strange that it's like 2 and then 2. I feel like we need like 3 and then 2 and then like it'd be 5 of the same. I don't know. You know what? I think I am going to do that. I'm going to put another pinky red one there because it's kind of bothering me with just the 2. An odd number kind of gal. Okay, so I think I want this one to kind of tip this way and be a little bigger. So I'm just going to tip it that way. Okay. Cool. So I'm just going back and forth my white and my red and my pink. And just doing the same that we had done before. Cool. I think that looks cute. I like that better, actually. Okay. Okay, so Charlene is saying it keeps pausing. Okay, I'm looking at the stream and I'm not getting any weirdness on my side, so it might be your connection. When it's mine, it usually on like Facebook shows like red, and today there's no red, which is really great. Often there's red. So, yeah, often it's all too often, but so far it looks okay today, so I think it might be on your end, but it's pausing. Okay. All right, let's see. Okay, so I think now I want to put in, what do I want to put in now? I think I want to do those little like green little accents, but I want to do them at the end. So I want to do everything around this branch, and I want to put in the big flowers, and then at the end I think I want to put in like those little accents. I think that's how I'm going to approach it. So on that note, let's put some flowers along this branch. So I want some pink flowers. So I'm just gonna get some pink on my brush. And these flowers, I'm gonna just go like, just use the end of my brush and just dab, dab, dab. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like that. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm essentially like the tip of my brush, I'm going light, and then I'm pushing down to kind of stamp the brush, and then my brush itself is creating the shape of these little 5 pointed flowers. Another odd number. Clearly, that's my jam. Okay. And I think I want some that are tiny. Maybe you can't even tell if there's like any points. Just like a little. Almost like little nubbies. Okay, and I want a few more actually. I think I want one right here, a bigger one. And I think I want one like here, I think. Cute. Okay, and then I want some white ones as well. It's gonna have 6 points. Okay. Then it's gonna be right close up to the island. That's cute. You know, the other one, like, little cluster right there. That's nice. I'll put another one like here, maybe. Okay. Maybe one here. There we go. Okay, so we have some cute little pink and white flowers. So pretty. And then I'm just going to use a little dot of yellow just to like give them like a little center. Dot, dot, dot. Again, it's very like cartoony. You can I didn't make any of them like tilted a different way. I just made them all the same. All facing this way. A little bit unrealistic, but that's okay. Okay, cute. Next up is, I think I might do the vine around this branch, so I'm just going to get a bit of a lighter green. So the green that I had on here was like a hunter green. I was mixing some yellow into it to make it a little bit lighter. So it's just a little too dark for my preference. Okay. And then I think I'm going to have it like, maybe this vine will be like here, and then it's going to come down and it's going to hang a bit. Like this, and then it comes there. And then maybe it comes back up behind, and then it comes to the front, and then it goes behind again, and then it comes maybe up, and it comes around this way, and maybe it comes back up here. Oh, I guess it wouldn't come. Maybe it wouldn't come that way, would it? It would come up from, so it comes from the bottom again, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. And you'll come like this. I think that one's gonna come like that. That's cute. And then maybe, where did that one come from? Maybe like that, perhaps. Fully twisted along this. Okay. And then I want to add like a little leaves. So again, I'm just using the end of my brush. It's like so much paint on my brush right now. It's a little ridiculous. It's okay though. Okay, I'm gonna put a few here. Okay, so a cute little vine happening. Thanks so much, Doreen. Awesome. Okay, cool. I'll just show that a little bit closer. So you can see the little vine that's going around the bottom. And the little flowers. Okay. And right now it's just one solid green color, so you may want to get a little bit darker and just add like a little darker or lighter, really. You can go either which way. I'm going to go a little bit darker, like at the hunter green, and just put little just going to follow some of the lines a bit just to give it a little bit of different color here. Okay, cool. Okay, nice. All right, so now I have my one leaf that I created a little bit earlier, and I want to put in, I'm just gonna put in a little bit of detail. Just going a little bit lighter on some parts of it. So I'm just going along the outside line with like a lighter, just to highlight that a bit, and I'm just going to put a line down the middle, and I'm just going to put a few little other lines in here. I'm going to go a little bit darker now, and then add a little bit more. Okay. Just making it a little darker at the edge here, because we're going to end up having flowers on top of it, so there'll be a bit of a shadow. It won't be as bright to see. There we go. Okay. And I want it to be a little lighter. Just putting a little touch of white on some spots just to make it pop a little bit nicer. Okay, cool. I think that is all I'm going to do there. Okay. Now, do we want to start putting in some of these flowers, the daisies? I don't know. I think I want to make sure everything's super dry. I think over here is dry. It's a little wet there right now, so I don't want to do that just yet. So I think I want to go in and put in a few of the like green things that are growing on the sides. I'm just going to get a little bit more of my green to use, and I need, yeah. Okay, so let's just get that going a bit. Okay, cool. So with my fine brush, I think I'm going to just put in kind of a guide is that I think for this one, I want to make almost like circle kind of things happening here. I think that's all I want to do here. Okay, and then I want to not sure. Maybe I'll just add a few little a little bit of greenery in the background a bit. Not sure if I like that too much actually. Okay. Save that for a moment and then we'll see if I want to add something else or not. I'm not sure. I'm not digging it too much. Maybe we just need like little wisps in the background. Maybe that would be better. Almost like little ornamental grasses. Maybe that would look nicer. Okay. Some little greenery in there, and then now we will see what else we're going to do here. Yeah. can't help but I need to touch these up a bit. I'm gonna put like a little bit of like pink in here because I just I'm not digging this. I want to change it up a little bit. I might just keep it simple, just put a few little pink moments in here. That. Cool. I think I might leave it. Okay. Cool. So, next up, I think we can, that's a little bit wet, but I do want to start putting some of these flowers in. Ooh. Oh, thank you, Marjorie. Yeah, I totally get it. There's like so many different types of painting styles that, yeah. I'm good with, like, I dig this. I definitely, again, I love doing the sky. I love doing water. I love doing trees. I'm okay with flowers, but it's not like, it's not my like full on where I'm drawn to, you know? But I do like the color play, I gotta say. That's what I enjoy about it. Okay, let's place some flowers. Let's see how we're gonna do these. So, what time do we got? 7:20. Not too bad. Okay, so it's been about an hour and 20 minutes, which is great. And what we have left to do are some flowers, and we gotta put our bee in place and the lovely little heart kind of trajectory that we have going on there. And again, you can feel free to change up how you want your bee to be, or you can change up if you don't want a heart, if you want it just to make like a loop-de-loop or whatever, you can make it however you want. You can even like write out a word if you want. So you can have lots of fun with that component of it. However, let us start with our flowers. So I think I'm going to start with white. I'm going to give them a white base. And then we'll put some color on top of it because I want them to stand out nicely. So I'm going to start, I think there's one over here. So I'm just going to place the center with this brush. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to start by bringing out the petals, and then we'll end up adding color afterwards. So I want to make sure the yellow color stands out nicely. So I'm just bringing out the way these petals are going to live, and some are going to bend a bit. Okay. I'm probably going to cover off that a lot, but that's okay. Okay, so that one's gonna be like that. And I want my other one to live like here. And similarly, we're gonna bring it out. Okay. And then we're gonna have the other one here. But you know what? I think we're gonna do that afterwards because we're gonna have to paint probably on top of whatever color we put on there to make that one stand out. Okay, so we have the outline of how we want those flowers to live, which is good. All right, so let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go with like a lighter yellow for the one in the back and then more of an orangey, bit more orangey into the one in the front. So let's start playing. Okay, so let's get some yellow color in here. I'm just gonna start adding some of this yellow to the petals that I've start placing, just so that it stands out nicely. And the reason why I did the white first is because there's blue in the background and because there's some other colors, I wanted to make sure my yellow stood out nicely and would be seen. Okay, cool. Awesome. Okay. No, that's not doing what I want it to do. Okay, I'm just getting like a bit of some brown into this just to give it a little darker, closer to where the petals connect. Okay, and then in here, I do want it to be brown, but I also need a little darker than that, so I'm just going to put a little bit of black in here. That purpley. Okay, I think I'm going to use my thinner brush just to add a little bit of detail. So I want to just get a little bit of white. Just want to emphasize some of the, like just differentiate the petals. So I'm just going with white along the like top line of the petals, just so it creates separation between the yellow of the one and the yellow of the other. looks pretty. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Doreen. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to make it a little bit, I'm going to use the yellow, but I want to make it a little bit darker slightly. So I'm going to add like a drop of red just to give it a little bit of an orangey kind of vibe to that. Oh, oh, thank you for the stars, Doreen. I really appreciate that. Okay. All right. Now so I just put a little bit of red into my yellow, and I'm just going to go over this one. Just going over the lines I created with the white. Okay. So I use my big brush for that, and I want to go to my, oh no, I want the middle part first, I think, before I move on. Okay, so I'm just going to go and just create a bit of a center in here. And I don't want it to be perfect, I want it to be a little messy. Yeah, that's good. I'm going to get some black and throw it in there. Yeah, cool. Okay, so now I'm going to get my thin brush. I'm going to get my yellow. So my brighter yellow, and I'm just going to put in a little bit of this brighter yellow, similar to what we did on the other one with the white, and then just put a little bit of using the yellow instead. I might still use some of the white too, to be honest, but I want to start with this one. Honestly, if it was drier, so if you did have a blow dryer, you could probably dry it out a bit, and then when you do this part, it will be a lot easier, because right now when it's wet, I'm constantly going back and getting more paint on my brush, because every time I touch the wet paint, it like disappears. So I'm using, I think, way more paint this way, but it's okay. Nice big one there. Okay, so let's get white paint. Let's kind of do a similar, I'm just going to put in a few little lines on some of the other petals, like that. Okay, and I want to get my orangey color now. Just add a little bit to the middle. Maybe a little bit on the edge there. Okay, let me get more yellow because that was a little bit too much in some spots. Okay, I think I'm good with that guy. Okay. So we also have the other one. I think I'm just going to wait a bit until that dries before I do that one. So now I want to put in my bee. So I think I'm going to start by, what am I going to use first? I think I'm going to use yellow to place it, and then I'll use black afterwards. I think that's how I'm going to approach this guy. All right, I'm going to use my medium brush. We'll get some yellow on it. Okay, so where do I want this guy to live? So I think I want his bum, essentially. So I'm going to do a kind of a circle where I want his bum to be. Okay, and I'm going to do another circle where I want his head to be. Okay. Kind of like that for now. I want to let that dry a bit before I use my black, because I'll use my black and then I'll add the lines and all that. And then I'll also do the wings. So this is still wet. Okay, so what I can do actually while I wait for that, I know I want the tail to be here. So I think I'm going to start putting in the line that lives around that has the heart. I do need more black though. Okay, and this line happens to have like a little, it's like a broken line. Okay, so we're just going to do our best, and we're just going to like little lines. Okay, you could always do it in like chalk. So if you're concerned about doing this just right off the hop, you could trace it out in chalk and then use the paint, and then you can always just get rid of the chalk. So that's a nice way to, a nice little trick. Okay, so I think about here, I'm gonna start to go up and curve. And then come back up. And curve. And then, oof, that was a little far away. I really want that to go that way. All right, go to harden. Yay! Oh, that's okay, Cheryl. You can rewatch I think you can rewind it, or you can rewatch it afterwards. So you can definitely check out the sky. Yeah, the sky is really fun. I love the sky. The sky is always my favorite. My most favorite to do. Okay, so I think I want to put in some of the black on my yellow. So for the top part, okay, so I'll make a nice curve. Okay, and then a curve, little helmet. Okay, and we can fill that in. Okay, and then in the middle, we have that part here. Okay, And then the bottom here kind of curves. And then it curves. And then we attach. Okay. And then we'll fill it in. Okay, cute. All right. I think I want to do the wings. And then, you know what, I think we could probably do just the outline here first, actually. Okay. And then put a little stinger like that. And now my little line is a little bit off, but that's okay. It's definitely off. But that's fine. Okay, cool. Maybe we can do the antenna too. I might as well. Okay, so we're gonna have one curve. And we're gonna have another curve. Cute. Okay. And now let's get the wings. Okay, so they come along here and they loop like that, and then they loop like that. Okay, let's try to mimic it on that side. It's definitely smaller on the side. Let's see if we can make it a little bigger. Okay, so we'll fill in. Oh, no battery. That's okay. We're almost done. Okay. Okay, so we have that. All right, so we'll let that sit. And then I'm going to go back on this side and we're going to put that other flower in here. So let's put the center. Okay, and this one is not the same kind of flower. It's more circular. It's going to go off the page a bit, but that's cool. Okay. Center. Okay. So this one, yeah, it's still pretty wet actually. So I ended up picking up a lot of the colors behind it. That's okay. that dry a little bit before we add more color to it because it is kind of a greeny blue. Oh, thank you, Mary. Thanks so much. Okay, I'm going to jump back over here to the B, and I'm just going to do some outlines. So I'm just going to attach this outline there, and there. Okay, and then I'm going to go around. Like that. Okay, so I have a nice outline there. Okay. And then, I know it's a white flower, but I'm thinking I'm going to make it a different color. We're going to do like pink. Okay. Those ones, I'm not sure about that. Add a little bit of black to look like the middle part. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. Okay, and then just putting some white. I'm just going to get some pink as well. I think I'm going to leave it like that. And I think I'm going to call it complete. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Looking back here for a moment. There we go. All right. So thank you all so much for joining me tonight. So I'm pretty happy with it. I think I still want to make the wings. I don't know, I guess they could actually, you know what, being see-through kind of makes more sense, doesn't it? See, I'm not going to stress too much about that. So I felt like you could see through too much, but I'm like, oh, I guess that kind of makes sense. So we'll leave it as is. But thank you all for joining me in recreating this original painting. I hope you enjoyed. Please take a picture if you did paint along and share it with me and the group. We all love to see it. I'll snap a picture of this and I'll share it with everyone too. And next week, we're not having a painting party. I'm actually off next week we're going camping for the long weekend. So I will see you all in July. So the first Thursday in July, I'll be back. The July schedule for all the paint parties should be up, hoping, by the end of this weekend. So I'll have all of that ready to go for you so you can see what's coming up for the July painting sessions. And that's about it. So thank you all for joining me. Please share with anyone who you think might enjoy these sessions as well and let anyone else know about this group. That would be fantastic. And have a great rest of your day and a great week. Bye, everyone. Take care.